David Thoreau was a poet, transcendentalist, and nonconformist. In 1854, his well-known classic Walden, or Life in the Woods, described his simple life surviving in a forest.
Food, water, atmosphere! You see, my close associate Ralph merely talked about self-reliance, but here I am living it. I have been here, living next to Walden Pond in Massachusetts for 2 years with nothing but what I can grow or trade for.
What the hell are you doing? You need Jesus.
Who are you?
I'm a shaker.
But I need to focus on being one with nature than spiritual desire.
Oh my god, you're Thoreau. Your essay on the duty of civil disobedience has inspired so many people like Gandhi and Martin Luther King Jr.
Who are those people? Well, I didn't write that essay.
You will.
Who are you again?
Well, you might know me from the Oneida community. Excuse me, I have a list of my husbands. I'm the wife of John Theodore Thames, Millard, Franklin, Quincy, Frederick, Cedric, Lewis, Clark, Oliver, and a few others.
Ew, that's disgusting. Shakers are celibate.
Okay, free love, man. Free love for everyone. That's why we have so many superior offspring. Now, do you want to buy some silverware? I got some spoons for you.
What about furniture?
Furniture?
Shaker furniture?
Excuse me, ladies. I need to go back to my hibernation state. Long ago, during the antebellum period of the early 19th century, many American reformers were inspired by the Utopian spirit and aimed to escape religious persecution and prejudice. They established several communities that emphasized on intuitive and spiritual pursuits, which gained a substantial following of idealists. Living communally and isolated from the modern world, they adopted communist-like ideals and attempted to create a perfect world. Many thrived for years, pushing for flawlessness, while many crashed and burned. They believed they would live on forever, or so they thought. The Shakers were founded in England in 1747 and brought to America by Mother Emily. They were one of the longest living communistic experiments, yet ultimately died off due to their practice of celibacy. They were named after their lively dance during worship, and the first group was actually called the Shaking Quakers. They believed in sexual equality and are known for their cultural contributions, especially music and furniture. In 1825, another communal society that was inspired by the Shakers was established in New Harmony, Indiana by a Scottish textile manufacturer, Robert Owen. They consisted of radical visionaries, theorists, and reformers who made many scientific contributions to American society. They valued secular education and established the first free library and public school system for both boys and girls. However, villages failed to survive without a unifying central authority. The Brook Farm in Massachusetts was instituted in 1841 by about 20 intellectuals devoted to the philosophy of Transcendentalism. This experiment prospered until 1846 when the communal center burned down and the community went bankrupt. On the upside, the endeavor inspired many classic novelists such as Nathaniel Hawthorne, because, we all hate damn Puritans. The Oneida community was yet again another perfectionist experiment founded in New York in 1848. These people practiced free love and complex marriage. They also encouraged birth control and eugenic parent selection in order to produce superior offspring. They aimed to be free of sin, despite having multiple partners, and cherished gender equality. In 1879, they abandoned complex marriage and many communist practices after receiving much criticism from their neighbors. The resolution was to establish a joint stock company that manufactured silverware. How productive!
Transcendentalism is a philosophy that emphasizes intuitive and spiritual pursuits above physical and material desires. The Transcendentalist movement of the 1830s occurred due to the liberalization of Puritan theology.
It originated around Boston and was reminiscent of Athenian culture, philosophy, and German Romanticism. Reformers sought to heighten their inner spiritual light and valued individualism and self-reliance.
Ralph Waldo Emerson, born in 1803 who lived to 1882, was a Boston-born Transcendentalist, former Unitarian minister, and he gave his Phi Beta Kappa speech called The American Scholar, which was his most notable address. He opposed European traditionalism in literature and was a known critic of slavery. Transcendentalism also inspired works of literature. Hostility to authority and institutions as well as convention was prevalent in works of literature. It promoted unity in a slave-based culture, which was the most predominant problem of this time period. Other influential transcendentalists, such as Henry David Thoreau, previously mentioned in the embarrassing skit before, and Walt Whitman, helped later poets inspire a spirit in American life, possibility, and personal freedom. Necessity sparked scientific achievement due to pioneering issues. Some notable figures were Maury, an oceanographer, Silliman, a chemist and geologist at Yale, and Gray, a Harvard professor specializing in American botany. Despite the spirit of reform, medicine was still in its infancy. Smallpox, yellow fever, and malaria were still problematic illnesses, and surgeries without anesthesia were still performed. Art continued to be influenced by European legacy. Architecture was shaped by that of the Greeks and Romans. In fine art, there was a lack of emphasis on portrait painting, in which case most of these artists relocated to England. However, Gilbert Stuart was a prominent painter of portraits, mostly known for his portraits of Washington. Theater suffered from Puritan prejudice, which branded it a sinful waste of time. Nationalism following the War of 1812 inspired and romanticized landscapes of the American frontier. The Hudson River School emphasized these techniques in their students' artwork. Puritan ideology frowned upon non-religious singing. However, at American minstrel shows, actors with blackened faces performed in front of large crowds. Battle hymns and slave songs emerged, and the beginning of American folk music was inspired.
American intellectualism, specifically the philosophy of Transcendentalism, and the several failed attempts at utopian societies guided and promoted artistic and scientific movements of antebellum America. The Republic of America, before the bloody Civil War, was altered by reformers, transcendentalists, and perfectionists.